Alrighty. Well, now is as good a time as any to start the show. Yeah, for those who are unfamiliar with my work, my name is Ed, and I draw stuff. And I figured I'd jump back in to hang on. Yeah. So my sound is working. Everything looks professional, and yeah, so I am currently in the process of drawing a series of caricatures, and this is the next one. Robert Van Winkle, aka Vanilla Ice. And I will just turn up the music ever so slightly so we've got something in the background to keep us entertained. Now, this is something that I prepared earlier. I wasn't super happy with the pose I had for him before, so this is the pose I've got for him now. But he used to look like this, which is fine, but it's nowhere near as dynamic. And I figured, yeah, I may as well make him look a little bit more interesting and cool, because I grew up watching this guy and I thought he was so awesome. Like, he was in he was in the Ninja Turtles movie. Yeah, did the Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go. Now, to anyone watching live on Facebook, also a quick hello as well. I'm still very new to streaming on that platform, so there's a good chance I may never see your what you've typed, as I'm still figuring out the various bugs and whatnot. If you're watching live on Twitch, how you doing? I'm glad I've got a few returning viewers. Some lovely individuals in the chat. It's always cool to know that I'm not broadcasting into a black hole. Although there is something kind of peaceful about just sort of sitting and talking to my reflection. So we're just working on getting these details. Now I have a few announcements coming up for the next live stream. That'll be number 71. I will be also incorporating Instagram and at some point even TikTok. Yeah, I remember when Vanilla Ice was like the first sort of very well-known prominent white rapper. Because up until he showed up, it was, yeah, just exclusively, well, pretty much nearly exclusively black art form. Yeah, I would like just to mention that the Sketch Jam set schedule is currently being reworked. Again, the whole thing of I go live when I can is still very much in place. That hasn't changed. So as I mentioned during the last live stream, I've been very busy. It's the start of convention season for me. So I had my first proper convention last Saturday. I was in Wollongong. Now, Wollongong is a sort of a regional city, which is just a nice euphemistic way of saying it's a small town. And I, for one, always enjoy going there. In fact, I don't think I've ever had a negative experience at all in that place. Granted, when I'm there, I'm only like there for a convention, so I'm just hanging out for a little while. But I always enjoy myself. And that place has yet to let me down. Like when I was there, like this time around, it was raining. Like pretty heavily. Yeah, I definitely hope that, the big jacket style makes a comeback. So what I'm making here is sort of like an amalgamation of his other jackets. I'm just gonna take a short break to do some slight checkups on the how the tech's going. So how has the carnivore diet been treating me? Honestly, I can say the results have been pretty good. But one of the things that I've found kind of interesting about it is just how ubiquitous carbs really are. Like, I'm not completely ready to take that sort of like total carnivore plunge. I'm still very much wading out into I guess deeper waters as I go. But I'm getting there. Like, one thing I have noticed is your cravings for carbs do subside. I mean, I used to have like these strange nightmares about carbs, and now I'm like, I don't really think about them that much anymore. I mean, they're still in the house, obviously. Like, there's just some things that are very much in the more things change, the more things stay the same category. I don't think I've really heard any of Vanilla Ice's new stuff. Like, everybody knows Ice Ice Baby. Which is like his sort of breakout hit. His big intro. So yeah, like I said in the previous live stream, I'll be doing I'll be doing some gaming if I get the chance. Haven't decided yet what I actually want to play, but I recently decided to get back into Fallout. Cool. Because I recently, I binge watched the whole show, the first season of Fallout. And I gotta say, it had its moments. I was impressed. I thought this obsession that like video game adaptations that have turned into like movies and TV shows that are really sort of being very faithful to their original source material is paying off. Like there were things about it that I thought were a little bit awkward. Some things I thought that were, you know, kind of baffling, I guess. Like Ella Purnell, who plays Lucy, very talented actress. She has almost distractingly huge eyes. Like she's one of those people that has eyes that are so big you kind of think that there's like some kind of like AI filter over them. Like if you ever used like one of those like sort of filters in like Snapchat or whatever, that's like her normal face, which I find is both, you know, naturally and curiously pretty, but also disconcerting. Because all I can think of is that live action version of Battle Angel Alita, where they had the actress and they used like sort of this green screen motion capture to make her head look slightly wider in the cranium and shorter in the jaw, and they like artificially made her eyes look like 50% larger, so she literally looked like an anime version of a human. Like if somebody like, you know, looked in real life like anime characters look in, you know, in the mangas and whatnot, then that would be like a perfect example of that. Ella Purnell kind of looks like that. But yeah, she's very cute, very good at what she does. Cool, I'm pretty happy with how that's gone. So I shall be right back. Please bear with me. I'm just gonna turn this music up ever so slightly, and I will be right back. All right. Yeah. Okay, I'm back now. For real. Where's I? Here we go. Yeah. All right. Let's throw some color into this guy, and we'll finish up this episode. Hang on. You gotta be careful with the feathering. It either works too well or not at all. But this way of working makes doing the coloring part very, very simple. However, I do have a bone to pick with how the flood fill works. I'm not the biggest fan of having to do this sort of like line work tidying, but it might be because I've got the settings not quite where they need to be. But I recently downloaded, well, not recent, it's more like last year, but Procreate Dreams, which is their flagship animation program, which is very similar to Procreate itself, in that it has like the Procreate name and stuff, but essentially what it does is it takes the sort of Procreate GIF Maker feature and it expands on it. Because I mean, I could make like an entire I've done animation in Procreate before. Like it's relatively, you know, uncomplicated. Yep. You always got to be very mindful of any gaps you leave in the line work with this. Just these little quality of life things that I encounter along the way. So not only did I finish watching Fallout, and sort of like kind of got reacquainted with the whole idea of like binging a show. It's not so much binging, it's just sort of like, you know, allotting some time in an otherwise sort of hectic adult life balance, and yeah, just chilling out for a few hours, or however long it takes to consume the product. Because I've never quite understood why some fans just get mad at artwork. Because that's all it is at the end of the day. Like, most of it is based on books. And as entertainment goes, like, it's mostly free. Or just like, you know, affordable and inoffensive enough to be consumed by pretty much everybody most of the time. Like, obviously there are things that you start finding annoying after a while. Like, I went through a big, like, gothic phase in high school. And the thing about phases is, like, when you're going through one, most of the time you're genuinely convinced that it's not a phase and it'll never end, and you'll feel like this forever. And realistically, the only way of knowing that you've gone through a phase is going through a phase and having the hindsight to realize that you went through a phase. And the thing is, like, everybody does. Like, it doesn't discriminate. make his hair on the side just a teeny bit darker. His eyebrows just a teeny bit lighter. And make his collar nice and starchy white. I'm just going to do a quick tech check. Yep. All good. Because the last time I did this, for some reason, the battery power in my iPad decided to just mysteriously drain on me. So been very mindful about that ever since. Like, the iPad's always been kind of my weapon of choice. Sorry, just doing a quick sound check. You can never be too sure if you're working without an on microphone. Just get these eyebrows looking a bit more presentable. I've decided to incorporate the other live streaming platforms. So pretty soon I will be, once I figure out how to make it work, I'll be on Instagram as well. And I honestly don't know how that's going to work. It'd be good to have a few more irons in the old fire, because this year's been amazing so far. I've had so much fun. And I'm definitely looking forward to a few things that are coming up. So I've got my next convention, not this weekend, but next weekend, and that should be fun. I will be performing live at the Comic-Con in the Central Coast, which, yes, is another regional city. But I don't know, I've always found regional cities to be, charming. So this is the other way I do colouring. Like instead of using the select tool, I just do sort of an outline blocking of the areas that I want to use the flood fill on. This is good because I can always check to see if there are any gaps. Because quite often with a color layer, I find there's actually plenty of gaps. So I'll just turn down the opacity there and follow it around. So I find this form of flood filling, because essentially all I'm doing is I'm making my own like coloring pages. There's something genuinely therapeutic about the whole process. See, this I find this way of doing color is far more efficient in the long run. There'll always be gaps. Just be very mindful of that. Just going to turn off this layer. See this gap right here? That's where the color's leaking out. So it's kind of like being I guess like a mechanic or a plumber. I'll turn that opacity down even further. Do an inspection. See? Right there, that's where it's leaking out. And there as well. So that's much better. And that's basically how you are able to color quickly, or as quickly as you can in Procreate. Sort of the old rambling instruction video. Wait a minute. So yeah, he's got the blue steel going. Alright, let's give him some funky pants. These pants, definitely the funky pants. I myself am looking to get some funky pants too. I'm thinking if I should order them online or not. I think that may be the way to go, but aside from like custom t-shirts that I make and design myself, I don't really like order clothes online. I wonder what's going on. So yeah, just like before, quick and easy, simple flood fill. Nice pair of tartan dancing pants. Yeah, he's still very much known for wearing a lot of loud stuff. I think this more than exemplifies that. And I honestly think that like loud clothes are, I think, making a bit of a comeback now. You never know. What comes back from the old scrap heap. Like the Stephen King novel says, sometimes dead is better. Which kind of makes me think about horror movies. Because like the two most crucial ingredients horror movies need is sort of a misunderstanding of how death works and how technology works. It's like a perfect storm of, you know, I guess incompetence. Hard to say, really. So we're just rounding in on the hour-and-a-half mark. Just like to say a nice little hello to everybody who's out there, who's tuning in and watching the process. I like to think of it a bit like the old Bob Ross show, where he just kind of rambles away as he paints happy little trees. And I guess to some extent, Vanilla Ice is a bit of a happy little tree. Yeah, what I essentially want to do is get these done in a much more expedient time frame. I realise I've got more work on my plate than initially anticipated, but I'm honestly rolling with it much better. What I've done, because last weekend was my first live convention in a long time, because last year, due to some unforeseen planning, they didn't actually have it. But now it's come back with a vengeance. I'm just, I guess, going to embrace doing them for real from now on. Learn something new every day, I guess. So here's one of my favorite brushes that I use, just to sort of cut out the middleman when it comes to texturing. Instant microphone. Like, that's the cool thing about like the preloaded brushes in Procreate. Like, they take out a lot of the sort of needle point level busy work that you sometimes find yourself doing. Yep. It's always important to swap back to your main drawing. And I'll just give him a standard black belt. I won't get too fancy with these particular details. Because even though this stream is doing way better across platforms, I'm still very much on a time crunch with with my other work, so yeah, there's always something that's got to be done. Always something that's you know, needs to be taken care of. That's the other thing, like, and I know that I mentioned this quite a lot lately, but the old carnivore diet's pretty good when it comes to how you plan out your day. At least I've found it. Because like you don't really have to think about food too much. Just eat a bunch of beef and get on with what you need to do. And I'll just give everyone a heads up. I may not be able to read everyone's comment because I'm still figuring out how to sort of like do the multi-stream thing. Oh, hey Bella. Thank you. Yeah, because I'm live streaming through Streamlabs at the moment, and you know this is like I'm pretty good with this one, but yeah, I'm thinking maybe doing it through what's it called, like OBS. But it remains to be seen. See how we go. But I do appreciate you guys being patient with me because, yeah, I'm not live very often. But I find that when I've got like an interesting project that I want to be able to share, becomes a fun little exercise in how far behind I am when it comes to technology. It's weird, you know, you think, oh yeah, I can keep up. I know what every platform is doing with its latest updates and everything, and I don't know, there's something about sort of reaching middle age where you genuinely find yourself like going, oh, now I know how my parents feel. Like you actually, rather than just sort of jumping straight into it, you have to take time to learn how to use all the programs. Like back when I was in high school, the computers we had were, primitive by today's standards, but you can still do plenty on them. Like back then, a good gaming PC was, several $1,000s, and it had nowhere near the kind of power that the average laptop or even phone has now. And like we had phones back then, but they too were pretty primitive. Like you couldn't do much on a phone back in the 90s except for like talk, text, and if you were lucky, you could play Snake. On a green and dark green miniature screen, if you know what I mean. Had to be there to be seen. And seriously, back then, like Nokia was the king of phones. My first phone was a Nokia. I also briefly owned a Sony Ericsson as well. And if you've never heard of those phones, then there's a good reason for that, because both companies were subsequently eclipsed by Apple and Samsung. Like Nokia is still around, but they're nothing compared to what they used to be. And like they are sort of making a comeback, but they've got Buckley's when it comes to, knocking the big two out of the top spot. But you never know. Like, I find getting a new device is kind of pointless now. Because I take relatively good care of my phones. I've only really needed to replace one of them when the screen got like all burned. Because that's one of the annoying things about like the Samsungs from a couple of years ago. Like their screens are so like powerful and bright that the pixels can sometimes burn into the screen itself. So I end up with phones that have like these permanent watermarks of where an app that was open for too long used to be. And they sort of like sit there like crop circles. And it's like, oh, you were on YouTube. I use YouTube like a lot. I think it's a cool, nifty, and very interesting thing to have on. I've also never understood, the idea of TV being brain rot. Like, it really depends on the TV that you're watching. Like, if you're getting sort of nothing out of it except for, like, just a bit of entertainment, that's still not brain rot. Like, we've used television ever since it was invented as not just a means of entertainment, but a way to learn stuff. And I remember being, always excited when the teacher would just say, okay, we're just going to watch a video. And they chuck on a nature documentary, and that was cool. Orders of magnitude more interesting than whatever we were learning in, whatever class we were in at the time. I mean, how else was I going to learn that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell? Oh, it's a bit bright. So here he is. Here's Mr. Robert Van Winkle. Which is also a great name for a rapper. I mean, Vanilla Ice is cool and stuff, but, if he decided to call himself MC Van Winkle, obviously no one would take him seriously, but there's something sort of catchy and ironic about it. Kind of like when hipsters own a microbrewery and they just sort of make up silly names for what are ostensibly just lagers and IPAs. So, nearly done. I'd like to thank everyone who tuned in on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I will be back next time with some new characters that I'll be drawing. So if anyone's interested, I will be hopefully online within a day or so. Maybe even tomorrow, depending on my schedule. And I'll just actually, I might keep his lips like that. They're funnier that way. And once again, I'll use this particular brush. Rather than painstakingly drawing all of these dots one at a time. Also, if you're interested, Vanilla Ice was in a movie. Not just Ninja Turtles. He was also in a movie about him called As Cold as Ice, or Ice Cold or something. And yeah, it's every bit as nuts as it sounds. Like the 90s really were a fever dream. Oh, I don't like that purple. I may have to rework these shoes, I'm not sure. This is my other favorite brush. The luminescent brush. If you want a quick, easy way to make neon and lightsabers, this is absolutely my recommended go-to. Anyway, I would like to just say a big warm welcome to everyone who showed up, and a special hello to the special people out there. You know who you are. And I will call it quits for tonight, and I will see you when I see you.